Hi and welcome. This is my review of Picard episodes 2 and 3. And I can tell you from watching this script seems very reminiscent to me. It just seems like it's the Wrath of Khan reborn. Um, like many shows these days, no one can come up with an original thought in their head to write a show. So I really got the feeling from watching these two episodes that they're reusing the script from The Wrath of Khan. Now, as you watch this show, you'll notice that Patrick Stewart looks like he's 100 years old, literally. And he he is a very good actor. Unfortunately, he seems extremely feeble in this show. And I'm not here to denigrate him in any way. I just think he's too old to play this part anymore. You actually watch the show and you get afraid that he's going to fall and break his hip. It's just really amazing. The show is carried completely by Riker. And the question I ask as I watch the show is, why didn't Riker ever have his own show? He really is a character that should have been explored. They should have had him, a show about him on the USS Titan. I don't understand why he doesn't have his own show. He clearly is both directing and starring in this show. And frankly, he is the best thing in the show that I've seen so far. He literally carries this entire show. Now, of course, we have the question about Jean-Luc Picard having a son and whether it's really his son. And we find out in this episode that it is his son because Beverly gives a look to Jean-Luc, knowing look that it is his son. And he announces to all the crew on the bridge, "It's my son." And okay, yeah, that's great. But how did this ever happen? When did they consummate this this thing? I don't remember Beverly Crusher in the New Generation. I don't remember them having some hot romance scenes in that show. Maybe I'm wrong. Does anybody remember? I don't know. I don't remember that specifically. So whatever. Supposedly he has a son, and this is his son. And and of course he has an English accent, which they explain in the show that he went to college in London, and he just always has the English accent. It's really doesn't make sense to me. When we've had like presidents like Bill Clinton that went to Oxford, and he doesn't have a English accent; he has a Southern accent. So yeah, okay, it just gets more bizarre by the second. The show does have action in it. It does have scenes in it, but once again, it's outside of the shock of him having a son and Beverly telling him that, oh yeah, this is when we had our son, blah blah blah. Oh, and by the way, I've kept him from you for forever, and I never told you about this until now that you're 100 years old. And of course, Jean-Luc Picard is pissed off about that with her or whatever. They're being pursued by the Shrike, which is captained by Captain Vadic, who once again is, to me, is the female version of Khan. And that's really what I get out of Amanda Plummer playing the role. I mean, she's good as the villain. That's fine, but it, to me, looks like a female Khan. And, of course, they're chasing the ship into, guess what? A nebula! What a shock! That reminds me, once again, of The Wrath of Khan. If you remember from the movie The Wrath of Khan, Khan chases, Kirk baits Khan into following them into the nebula. Okay, so this is going on here, and they're being chased by the Shrike, which of course looks like this. And how many times have we seen this ship before? Yeah, I think it's overused. I'm kind of tired of seeing this same starship following people and blowing them up, and it gets kind of old after a while. Can't they come up with a better design? Just saying. It just, yeah, it's really, a lot of this show is a lot of used parts or reused parts, especially the script. So yeah, so they're being followed by this ship, which intermittently is firing at them, and we find out in the third episode that it has a special weapon that distorts time, space, warp, and it causes you to enter into a wormhole that makes you appear wherever they want you to appear. So they have this thing where the ship, the Titan, they shoot the weapon. It starts out as like a missile or a torpedo, and it goes in front of the Titan as the Titan is traveling, and it explodes in front of it, and then the Titan passes into the warp, and then they end up appearing right in front of the Shrike. And they do this a few times to emphasize stupidity. Don't know why you have to see this like 3 times. Why you can't see it once or twice to figure that out. I guess they think this audience is really stupid. But anyway, they have that type of weapon, which is obviously one of the weapons they must have stole from Daystrom space station, whatever. And so there's the villain, Vedic, who is constantly threatening the people on the Titan and seems to smoke cigars or cigarettes or whatever, which I don't know if smoking will be a thing in the, the 23rd century. Not sure about that one, but anyway, it's whatever. She's good in the part. And then, of course, we have tension that starts to form between Picard and Riker, which really doesn't make any sense. I mean, once again, Picard unfortunately comes off as the feeble old guy, making suggestions. And in the third episode, he kind of ends up being the number one or the first mate because Shaw, the captain, gets injured in one of the attacks that Vedic does on the Titan, of course, and he turns over the ship to Riker, which, okay, I have to just think about this for a minute. Now, Riker is a retired captain. Picard is a super retired admiral. Last time I checked, you can't just turn over a ship to someone that is retired. They have to be reactivated into active service. So him saying, computer, turn the ship over to Riker, blah, blah, blah. I think the computer would have said to him, unfortunately, Captain Riker is retired and I can't turn the ship over to him. So I just use a normal logic. Somehow the script writers missed that part. But anyway, the computer allows it, and he's the new captain of the Titan, and, he has his own ideas of what to do with the Titan, as he's been the captain of the Titan before this was his captainship, was this ship. And so he knows all about the Titan, and is probably a better captain than the guy that he left in charge of it. But anyway, so Picard's telling him to attack the Shrike, blah, blah, blah. And Riker saying, no, my first duty is the safety of the ship and everyone aboard. And frankly, Riker is correct, because if you think of, even in the original series, Captain Kirk's always says that what? His first duty is the protection of all 400 people on this ship, the Enterprise, and the most important thing to him is the ship. And so Riker has that similar philosophy, which is good. It's refreshing to hear that out of Riker. Like I said, Riker carries this show. But there is a particular scene that I thought was stupid, and I mean really stupid, okay, where him and Picard are arguing out loud in front of the crew on, which kind of ridiculous. And Riker basically removes Picard from the bridge, tells him, get off the bridge. I don't want to hear from you. And that about a disrespect I don't think you would ever see from Riker, because Riker really, you know, Picard is like a father figure in some ways, a mentor to Riker. He would never treat him that way. And, you know, I just, whoever wrote this is a moron, because Riker wouldn't do that. I mean, he may not listen to Picard's advice, okay, that's fine, but he wouldn't throw him off the bridge. Okay, that was just too extreme for me. He wouldn't do that. I think he respects Picard way too much to do that. And not only does he respect him as a mentor and his friend, etc., I mean, he would never do that to him. So, I mean, that was one of the scenes that really I was scratching my head at. And of course, Worf appears in the second episode, and he turns out to be Raffi's, who is in intelligence, Starfleet intelligence, trying to track down the people that stole, if you remember from the last video I did, trying to track down the people that stole the stuff from Daystrom Station. It turns out Worf is her handler. And he makes this great dramatic entrance of killing a whole bunch of people that were going to that were doing bad things to Raffi, let's just say, and he ends up killing them all, appearing and killing them all, and you know, he plays. Worf is just a great character. I like Worf a lot, so I think he's a great character in Star Trek, all-time great character, and you know, he adds a dimension to the show as usual. That's really cool, but and I think he does. Michael Dorn does a great job. It really does. Even though he's older, he's still good at what he does. And so it's really cool to see him in it. And I was very happy when he showed up. But so he turns out to be her. The only problem I have is I don't see how he is in intelligence. Because, well, he is like, what, the most famous Klingon in the entire galaxy? I mean, everybody knows who he is. He could never be covert. Right? I mean, he can't hide anywhere. Everybody knows who he is. He has a face that everybody knows. So he could never be undercover or covert in any way. So how could he be an intelligence worker or work for Starfleet intelligence or whatever? It doesn't make any sense. Or even be a freelance person, because everybody knows who he is. So, you know. Anyway, he's working on finding out who stole the stuff from Daystrom Station. The problem with the show, now these shows average, if you take out the credits, okay, and the opening music and all that crap, these shows are only like 30 minutes long, okay, and the show goes back and forth like every minute and a half between the Worf script and the script of Riker and Picard. That, to me, gets incredibly annoying. Going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth with this disjointed stories. They're two separate stories, and you're going back and forth constantly between them. So I found that annoying. You know, you can tell me whether you find that annoying or not. I find it annoying and not well done. So how do I feel about the show after watching 3 episodes of it? Once again, I think it's basically a rehashed script, at least from these 3 episodes. It is a rehashed script of The Wrath of Khan. Which, you know, I think the show is okay, and I think it's just okay. Is it better than the last 2 seasons of Picard? Absolutely. Is it better than Star Trek Discovery? Absolutely. But that doesn't... The show really depends heavily on bringing back the cast, the old cast, back together. And, you know, it's hoping that fans just seeing Worf, you know, and Riker and stuff like that, that's going to make you watch the show. And maybe it does make you watch the show, but script-wise and story-wise, it's not much of a story going on here. At least I don't think so. I've heard other people review this show and tell me it's fantastic. I don't think it's fantastic at all. It's right up against, by the way, The Mandalorian on Disney+. And frankly, The Mandalorian, judging from the first 2 seasons, is a superior show to Picard. Okay? And I watched the first episode of The Mandalorian, and I can tell you flat out it's better than Picard just by watching a 30-minute episode of The Mandalorian. So I won't talk about any more about The Mandalorian in this one. So what is Picard out of my 5-star ratio? I'd say it's a 2, maybe a 2.2. It's just You can watch it or not watch it. I wouldn't care either way. And that's really what it comes down to. If you enjoy these videos, please subscribe. Tell your friends about it and have them subscribe. Hit the like button. Till next time, bye-bye.